Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. All praise and thanks and gratitude be to Allah, and peace and prayer on our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Today, this is our third session on natural learning. Here with us, our respected guest, Dr. Abid Ali. It will be a discussion format, like since we are only few until now, so all of us has open floor to ask questions. So Dr. Yani, Arafat, please ask any questions during the presentation so that it becomes interactive and we can learn better through the question and answer session. So without further ado, Dr. Abid Ali, please start your presentation.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Brother, I would request you to make me co-host so that I can share my
I have already
presentations. Already. Okay, that is good. So last time we had a beautiful session with Dr. Yane, and we learned a lot, mashallah, about what they're doing in Norway. And I have been actually following Norway education system because that has become popular among the educationists. And
it's Finland, doctor. He is from Dr. Yani from Finland.
Oh, sorry, Finland. Yeah,
yes.
Definitely. So
Finnish.
Sorry, that was it slipped from my mind. Finnish education system is one of the most spoken about because of certain criteria which the West has developed in different fields. So that was it. But somehow, since I being a natural educationist or naturalist, I had certain reservations. Certain questions I asked Dr. Yane as well in my last session. And there are certain things, inshallah, with the time, I'm sure Dr. Yane too will appreciate. And maybe if he would like to attend to the queries. Since I believe in natural education, and I believe that nature is the creation of the Almighty, our Creator, and that the nature is actually the laws which the Creator created to run this world, all the affairs of this world. So nature is God created, and human beings are created on nature as per the Holy Quran, which says that Deen is nature, our religion is nature, and human beings have been designed accordingly. And nature cannot be transgressed. You cannot change the nature. So that is amazing. Now we too believe that natural laws cannot be changed. We have to follow the natural laws to whatever we are making or developing or creating or inventing. It's all natural laws are totally involved in that. I mean, we cannot deviate from nature. We follow the natural laws and create many new things. Right. So today I will start this session with Surah Fatiha. Just let me see if I can share the screen with you. Okay, I can. Yes, brother, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. One thing very interesting. Do you see this picture?
Yes, the picture of the universe.
So, can you guess what are these white spots? these white spots in the picture. By the way, I'll just it was taken. I had taken this picture in 1990s from National Geographic, and they said that the angle of coverage of this picture is as if you put a grain of sand on your fingertip and you extend your arms, right? If you extend your arm, and the angle which the grain of sand will make with your eyes, you know, very small angle. So this is a very small coverage of the universe. And most of these spots, hazy spots, are all galaxies. And many of these galaxies are having above billions and billions of stars. So this is a miniature photograph, picture of the whole universe. Right? So normally when I talk on human perception, I show this picture to make the human realize that what status we have before the creator, you know, because many of us think we have captured the whole nature and we can do whatever we like. But as a matter of fact, we are in a very small part of this whole natural setup by the creator, right? The important thing for me, which has, I was very critical when I was young. I had a lot of questions about the whole universe and our creation. And there was a time for 2 years I went into seclusion and I was thinking all the time. And Surah Fatiha, this is the opening chapter of the Holy Quran. And I found it very helpful to understand many facts about the whole life over here. So anyway, I'm not going to discuss it right now. I'll just read, because whenever we start our Quran or you know, any important thing, or even our prayers, daily prayers, 5 times Salah, this is the first chapter that we recite in every Salah, in every Rakat. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Dr. Yani, it is in Arabic, as you know. It says, in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful, all the praise are for Allah, the creator of all the universe, all the systems, everything. Rabbul Alameen is the Rabb, the creator, the runner, the caretaker, right? Who has full domain over all the systems of all the alams which exist. He most beneficent, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, most beneficent, most merciful. Maliki Yawmiddin, he is the Malik, or he is the sole controller on the last day of judgment. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. You alone we ask for help. You alone you alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help. Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim, guide us to the right path. Sirat al-lazina an'amta alayhim, the path of those upon whom you bestowed your inam, your mercy, your gifts. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdalin, amin. Not of those upon whom you punished, or who became liable for your punishment, nor of those who went the wrong way. So basically, actually, it is for us to, the main truth is that he is the creator and he is the sustainer of everything which exists in this world, but he is extremely merciful. And At the same time, he will also be the judge on the last day of judgment. Though he is very merciful, but we have to keep in mind that there will be a last day where we have to be accounted for everything that we did in this world. So he will be the main judge on that day. And since he is Rabbul Alameen, he alone has to be worshipped, and he alone can guide us, right? And then we ask for his help to guide us to the right path. So this I found, especially the first verse of this, or the second verse of the surah, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, this has solved many of my questions in my mind, because when I was young, I would say that why he's the alone should be worshipped. Why can't we ask others for help? Or why can't there be his partners? So anyway, inshallah ta'ala, someday when I get chance, I will go into more details to dig into the secrets of this chapter of the Holy Quran. This is what I showed last time, if you remember. And this is very important. Oh, sorry. I think, okay. Let me, okay, this is better, I think. This is something which made sense to me, because I asked one of the ulamas in America, he's very popular. I asked him whether to follow Islam, do we require systems? To follow the deen, we call deen, is the way of living. So, and I have asked these questions to other ulama as well, and they agree that without systems, there can be no deen. So my next question was, do we have systems which are based on Quran or which are based on Islam, as our creator wanted us to develop and follow? And they said, no, we don't have systems right now, and we are following all imported systems. So my next question was, okay, we don't have systems. Okay, we lost our systems. So please let me know if we have 58 Islamic countries, any country, any group in any country, at any corner of these countries, if they are systematically or in an organized manner working for developing systems from our perspective, the Quranic perspective. And they had no answer. They had no answer. So I told them that the problem is, if we don't have systems, then how are we going to follow our own deen or our Islam? Because we are following the systems created by other nations who have their own objectives of life. They have their own definitions. They have their own philosophy of life. So how is it possible that if we follow their systems, how can we achieve our own objectives? So anyway, they had no answer to that, and I was amazed, because I think one of the main jobs for us is to define our own systems as per our objectives, as per our philosophy of life. And this is very important, which we somehow for the last few centuries we have failed to realize. And we are following all the systems which have been developed by other nations, especially the West. An important slide, let me see. Just a moment, I'll take a few minutes. I think it has gone on auto, and the slides are moving by themselves. So I'll just stop the, okay, just a minute, please.
No problem, take your time, please.
No, just animation now.
And for our respected participants, please feel free to ask questions when Dr. Abid Ali is presenting, because we are only a few people here, it would be more interactive if we ask pertinent questions. Because if I just ask on, so it will be like, okay, just a dialogue.
Assalamu alaikum, Tariq bhai. Can I ask a question?
Not now. Let him continue.
Right.
Let him continue
Okay.
and ask him questions on his discussion point.
Right. Because you said you wanted to be interactive, so I can ask a question, so Professor can answer.
Okay. Go ahead, because he's working, so you can.
Yeah, the Prof said there should be a system for education in the 58 Islamic countries. I think every countries, they also do have their national curriculum. Can we consider the curriculum as a system of education?
Actually, okay, let me first go through this diagram. Probably this will clarify many points that is there in your mind right now, and then I will also focus on your question after this. Right.
Thank you, Prof.
So any system, I believe, it has got different levels. The basic level is what I call the seed level, which is even below the root level. Right. And then finally, we have the fruit level where we get the result of the system, any system. So when we speak of system from a particular ideology, and especially from the Islamic point of view, then we should realize that any system has some basic philosophy behind. It is pointless, or it is simply impossible to develop anything, any system without a philosophy behind. You've got to have certain rationale to develop why you need that system. What is it going to achieve for you? What do you want to achieve from the system? What do you think about the life in this universe, the short life that we have that spans for at the most 100 years? And then we all go one by one. We all leave. I remember a day when I was like Brother Tariq with all, black hair. And and even when I was with him, I think I did not have this gray, this much gray beard, or I had much more hair on my head, right? But with the time, you cannot help. Things go, and then there is a time for you to depart. The most important thing is what will happen after your departure. That is most important for us. That is why I think most of us are here. Anyway, nation's philosophy is the basic thing, or people's philosophy about the life, about many things about this life, is most important thing for any system. And through the philosophy that you have, right, give you the goals of that system. I mean, how are you going to decide what objectives you would like to achieve, or what goals you would like to achieve? So it is the philosophy which tells you, okay, this is how I see, or we see the human being to be, or if it is finance, through financial intervention, we would like to achieve these targets, which you call targets. Right? So after the philosophy, the most important thing, then you draw your goals or targets. And every nation has its own philosophy and draws its own goals. When we talk of education system, so it will draw its own goals. What do they want to achieve from education? Why are they educating their children or ourselves? What do we want to achieve? Right? So you can have different goals maybe, but some goals are very important. They are the main goals. And then they may be objectives, small objectives, through which you think when you achieve these objectives, you will arrive at your goal. So we have nation's philosophy, which gives definitions to what is around you, like the creation. Is there a creator? What type of creator is he? What is his demands? What status human being has in this world? What are the life objectives over here? Right? Many things. Why are you educating your children? What do you want to achieve by educating your children? Right? What is nature? Right? What is the nature of human being? What is the nature of child? How are we designed to learn? They are very important, because if we neglect these, then we become pointless. I mean, as I showed you, we deviate from our path. So after these definitions, when these are clear in our mind, then we draw aims and objectives of what we want to achieve, and then you go for curriculum, how to go about achieving these aims and objectives. You develop methodology, different interventions maybe, and that is called curriculum. Right? There can be a hidden curriculum, there can be an open curriculum. Hidden curriculum is something which you may not be realizing, or which is there in your there are two types of hidden curriculum. One is you want to keep it secret, like in programming. They want to achieve certain objectives which they think people will not appreciate, but then they design the whole system without declaring those objectives. Or it can be hidden curriculum, which is say after effects of your whole process when you are doing your education, you even without your knowing the results of your interventions. Then we have we devise methodologies depending upon what curriculum we have drawn for ourselves. And in that, the most important thing is the child psychology itself. What is a natural child? If you design an education system or a curriculum or methodologies without considering child psychology, which is happening in most of our nations here in this world, so then we land ourselves into a more confusing state, as we see in many third world countries and even modern countries. There's a lot of confusion about education. There is continuous research going on, because whenever they realize the objectives are not being achieved, they do research, especially the West. The good thing about West is they are research oriented, and they discover many things. The latest discovery, not the latest, I'm talking about 10 years back, they carried out experiments on young children, and they found out that even a 2-month-old baby has value system. That was amazing for them. They experimented and they found out that a person is born with value system, but it was very difficult for many people to digest, because for them it was there has got to be a creator to create this value system even before a child is born. But since many people believe there is no creator, or he is not smart enough, so they were amazed. I mean, many of them simply rejected this theory or this finding that a child cannot be pre-programmed, which we believe, or which we are told in the Quran, that we have been pre-programmed, right? Alastu bi rabbikum, the ayat which says, which Allah asked after the creation of Adam, all the people who are going to come to this to the earth, they were given life, I do not know, they were brought forward and they were asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, am I not your Lord? Alastu bi rabbikum? Qalu bala, and they said, no doubt you are our Lord. We witness on our nafs, we witness on our own creation that you are our Lord. So Allah said that I'm telling you this thing so that on the last day of judgment, you don't say that we did not know that you are our Lord. Or you may say that we were born at a later age and the people before us did not pass this knowledge to us. So we don't know that you are our Lord. So this is, as per the Quran, as per the saying of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is already ingrained in each. The knowledge about the Creator is ingrained in each of us. And surprisingly, Plato was of the view that we are pre-programmed. This is what Imam Ghazali also narrated. And lately, it was Sir Ken Robinson, who died just last year, a British educationist, a very popular, probably one of the most popular educationists of the present time. He too believed that we are pre-programmed to grow in knowledge. The role of the teacher is just like the role of a gardener who doesn't pull the plants to become longer, or who doesn't paint on the petals of the flower. They have their natural color. He just creates an environment where the plants and flowers grow by themselves. And he said this is actually the role of the teacher or the educationist, to create an environment where the knowledge comes out by itself. So this, so even Plato had said that knowledge already exists within us, and it has just to be, taken out by different, like in Quran, we call the verses of Quran ayat, or reminders. Reminders of what? Right? We say ayats are reminders. So actually what I believe, these ayats awaken in us the knowledge which our souls already possess, right? I know there'll be questions regarding this, but just you see, at seed level we have the philosophy, which I believe, this is my theory, right? At root level we have the definitions of how we look at this world, at this life, right? And at the structure level, then we have the curriculum and the education methodologies that we want to achieve our goal from. And when we achieve our goal, that is the fruit level. Just as we see in the nature, how the trees grow, right? And the most important thing is the psychology of the person or the children whom we are trying to impart education on, right? So
Dr. Abdali, can I interrupt?
Yeah, please.
Because in our past session, when we had discussion with Dr. Yani, we have a question on structured education and natural education, right? Since we see in the system like seed level, roots level, and structure level. So is this a comprehensive model for the natural education, or?
No, this is actually a model for any system. Any system. I have taken it for the education system, right? For any system to develop, you have got to have a basic philosophy. And this philosophy is normally one philosophy which the nation possesses, right? Which gives us the definitions of how we look at different things and different aspects in our life. And then for that system, like if you are going for economy or finance, then we set certain goals as per our requirement, what we require. As per our vision of life, we set certain goals, and then we develop these methodologies and how to achieve the goals that we have already thought. So this is a very intelligent process and a very strong process. You cannot deviate. I mean, I believe the system is very strong. You can, break your head, but the system is going to prevail, whatever system you are following, because it has got very deep roots, right? This has got deep roots and deep rationale behind whatever they want to achieve. So it is not possible that we use another system, a system of another nation, and achieve our objectives. We cannot, because here is the main thing. Here is the main thing, how we define things. Yeah, so, right? So if we have defined.
So at present, globally, I think we have only one model, right? Because this is the model that has been established last 2 centuries, minimum last 2 centuries.
You are very right. That's what actually I wanted to point out. Presently, this model or one model we are following, and that model is not developed around our objectives, is it?
Yes.
that is developed around objectives of the nation which developed that model. And the good thing is, I'm actually, Dr. Yane, I blame ourselves. I don't blame other nations. It is we who deviated from the path which we were shown by our prophet, and he had made everything very clear. The things were very clear, but it is we who were influenced by either Greek philosophy or by the Persian philosophy, and presently with the philosophy of the West. Now, the problem was, as Dr. Yane will also appreciate, that it was in the 16th, 17th century when the Europe revolted against the religion. And they were more pragmatic because religion was stopping, I believe it was stopping them from progress, scientific progress. And but there were many scientists who were sentenced to death, at least some of them, because they claimed the world is round, or any, such things which the clergy or the religious clergy was against. So there was a barrier, and then they had to revolt against the clergy, and then they took the other extreme, and they, in the process of revolting against the clergy, they revolted against the creator and the religion itself. And then it was a feeling in early 19th century and 20th century and even 21st century that we don't require nature. We can design things ourselves. We don't have to be bound by nature. But then we see in 1970s, 80s that we realized we cannot contest with nature. We cannot challenge the nature, because natural laws are fixed and they will have their own repercussions, like ozone layer, damage to the ozone layer and all those things. So now, then what happened, that nature was accepted, but then it was considered as an entity parallel to God. They thought that God and nature are two different things, and they would say that nature is more strong than God itself. But in our religion, as the Quran says, that our deen or our religion is based on nature, and that is very strong, and it cannot be changed. The nature cannot be changed. So anyway, as brother was asking me the issues of the system, that what are the main basic issues? What was your question, brother? Brother Arafat?
Yes, doctor, because you said about the system of education, and you said we have 58 Islamic countries and we don't have a proper system of education. So I said each country, they have their own national curriculum. Can we consider that as a system of education?
No, actually, system is much more than curriculum. System is your understanding about human psychology and child psychology, right? We believe that we were specifically, as brother Tariq had mentioned in the last session, we are specifically designed to play the role of Allah's or our creator's representative in this world on earth, right? We have been designed. So, and the Quran says that we have been designed, right? Alastu bi rabbikum, that we are already pre-programmed. So supposing if you deny, no, we are not pre-programmed, we don't have any special objective dictated by our creator or developed by our creator for ourselves, and we defy that, and then we follow a system, do you think that can be successful? Because we are going against the nature. That will never succeed. This is what is happening not only in Islamic countries the world over, but in West, they are continuously doing research and they are finding many, many new things. As a matter of fact, the West has largely, they have gone against the prevailing education system, the framework of education system, and they're coming up with different ideas like jungle school, natural education, and all those things. And they have realized that we cannot define nature, and nature is already designed. If you don't recognize the natural child, then you cannot develop a system which is child friendly, isn't it? And this is what has happened. Even our madrasas are following the same structure of education as has been designed by the West. We never had this structured education at a younger level. Yes, we had universities, but for children up to 10, 12 years, the education was not very much structured. It depended largely upon the child or person who wanted to acquire education, and he used to decide what are his needs and whom he should go and approach and where he will get what he is really wanting to learn. So basically it was learner oriented. It is in 11th century, Nizamuddin, what was his name? He was Wazir of Alp-Arsalan. He developed a system of madrasas, which lasted for around 200 years, it is said. And even Imam Ghazali was heading one of those madrasas. But that too did not last long, in which he developed a particular curriculum. And it was more like an organized education system. But that did not last for very long. And we did not have, we had, okay, for Nazira, learning Nazira, or if you just recollect, for brothers who have been to UIA, that we had halakas.
Yes.
Halaka system. Halaka system was around one scholar, right? And the learner would decide, okay, I want this knowledge. And then he would decide, okay, this halaka will give me that knowledge, maybe about hadith or maybe about Quran. And then he will go and sit in that halaka, not for the lifetime, for some years. And then the leader of that halaka would say, okay, now you have learned whatever I possess. You can now go to some other halaka and learn whatever your endeavors are. So it was happening, it was very informal, especially till the age of 12. The universities were for children 12 and plus. They were not for grown up like today. Another thing I would like you to realize, just tell me please, at what age does a boy get matured and he can grow a family?
I just read a story. There was an Afghan boy. He was 14 years old. He had one son. He was fighting against American. At the same time, he was working and supporting family. So I think this is at present.
You're right.
So.
No, you're right. A boy is matured and is liable to grow a family at the age of around average age of 15. And what about the girls?
13 maybe?
No, girls are around 12 years earlier. Girl is around, the average is 12 years when they start having their cycles first. And the boy is 15 years, about 3 years difference, right? So if you believe in a creator, and if you believe that...
Can I interject? Because we are talking about from the historical phenomena, but at present, actually, all are changed, especially the foods and you can say everything. So those who are living mostly in cities, I would say like this, even though they have these biological demands, but in terms of this mental maturity and the physical health capability, I think here with us, Professor Shahjalal Sarkar. He is one of the professional. I would request him to unmute and to please participate with us so that we can learn more. It's a very close to group session. Doctor, please unmute. So please, Professor Shahjalal, can you please introduce and let us discuss together? Professor Shahjalal Sharkar, please introduce yourself.
Hear me?
Yeah, yes, please. We can hear you.
Yeah, my name is Shahjalal. I'm assistant professor at UCL. My background is statistics and epidemiology, which is a research branch of medicine. I work in the Department of Medical Education for 2 years at UCL, but now I have moved to Institute of Neurology. So I am not an educationalist in terms of education theory, but I'm at the university level. Yes. So I was listening the talk, mashallah, and I was enjoying a lot of psychological aspects have come up, which is really, really fascinating, which I did not know. So I was listening after the Fajr, mashallah. So yeah, mashallah is a very good initiative, and we can learn more from the expert in this program.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Please, Dr. Abidal, please continue.
Yeah, first thing, I'm not an expert. I have to am a student, and I keep on learning. I enjoy children very much. I observe children very closely, right from their birth. I have got my grandchildren, so I can enjoy this facility. I look at each expression of the child which it makes, and I can see the intelligence in a newborn baby. Super intelligent. They are more intelligent than we are. Which just because they cannot speak, just because they do not know our culture, we think they are stupid. They are not. They are far superior intelligence than we are, and with the time they learn. But as soon as they start communicating with this world, we bog them down. We bring them to our level. We bring them to our level, and this is happening. I mean, this is a crime that we are doing for a very, very long time. That's why we are not getting any thinkers. We are not getting any leaders. 58 Islamic countries, not a single leader. I mean, isn't it amazing? 1.4 billion people. We don't have a person who can think independently. We are followers. We are only followers. Either the followers of West or the followers of our predecessors. Of our, we blindly follow. God forgive me. The important thing here, why I am discussing this is because we have to consider nature. The nature has designed us, and it has given us certain objectives to achieve in this life. It is not possible that the creator makes you the his representative and his second in this world, and doesn't give you the capability to carry out your responsibilities. Do you think it is logical? Is it rational? Because we believe in a very living, a very active, and a totally intelligent creator, which we call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So to think that he can do things in a misorganized way, he is going to hold us responsible for our acts without giving us that smartness to carry out the job. I mean, this is simply to, colliding thoughts. So my belief is nature is very strong. Nature is created by creator, and he has designed us around nature. So we have to appreciate when I say that a boy of 15 years can have a family. So he should be able to develop a support for his family. He should be able to earn for his family. Right? The same way a girl of 12 is naturally designed to develop. She can have family, and she should be capable of being an effective mother. So that is already ingrained in our personalities, in our nature. But if we don't believe in these things, and if we don't believe in creator or his special design, then that will lead us into confusion, which the whole world is in, I believe, presently, because we are not realizing the difference between Allama Muhammad Iqbal, as you may be knowing him, and the other scholars. As Iqbal has deeply digged into the nature of human being. His whole poetry depicts his understanding of a human being. I mean, he can see human being at a very high pedestal, with extreme intelligence and with extreme, you can say, potential, which he calls latent potential in every single human being. Righto. So for me, the nature is very, very important. If we neglect nature, it is like what Stephen Covey said, that nature is like a lighthouse, right? So he narrates a joke that there was a naval ship which came out for exercise. It was being commanded by an admiral or a captain, and it was foggy, and they saw a light on the right side, on the starboard side, we call it starboard right side, and they told the captain that there is a light on the starboard side. So he said, okay, you tell that ship or that vessel to alter course, because they were coming into a collision course. So he tells the other light, they flash, Morse code, and they said that, okay, you alter course. I am a naval ship. I am, you alter course. So they got the reply, you alter course. Then he said, I am captain, you alter course. And he said, I am a seaman, the junior most rank, seaman 2, you alter course. Then he said, I am a naval ship, you alter course. And he said, I am a lighthouse, you alter course. So naval ship had to alter course because he could not, collide with a lighthouse. Lighthouse cannot. So he said, Stephen Covey said that the principles are like lighthouses. They are fixed, they show you the way, but you cannot move the principles or the nature. So please ask me answers and questions. There were many slides I wanted to show, but I think it was interesting, and we had got some interesting questions. So then I only focused on one slide.
It's okay, Doctor. Thanks a lot. It would be great that, inshallah, we'll continue with our successive sessions. And now it is an open floor. Please, all audience, unmute and let us question Dr. Abid Ali and each other. Let's learn from each other. Please unmute. Arafat, Dr. Yanni, Danish, please. Dr. Yanni.
Thank you. Yes, I really enjoyed Dr. Abid's presentation, and I really liked the slide of the education system, which pictures any education system, as he said. I'm sort of thinking of the system we have in Finland. It has its structure. It's a structured system. But it is at the same time, it is child-centered or learner oriented. And for that, we need the highly educated teachers, which are the key for the system and the key to develop new initiatives to improve the system. So kind of like I see our system kind of like maybe a blend of a structured and natural education system. This is my take. Maybe another one is that the education is one part of a nation's many systems. So then there's other things like the population density or the nature itself, corruption, crime, then the R&D and innovation systems, and the mentality of the people, like how relaxed they feel, how open the society is, and how transparent. And of course, this all lead to the happiness of the people. And maybe one thing I think what we are after is always cooperation within our nation and with other nations and other people. It's not really like a competition. at the end of the day, because we realize that if you take our system and our teachers and place them in Bangladesh for 5 years, the change they can make in this time are minimal. Or if you take Bangladeshi teachers and place them for Finland for 5 years, maybe we can improve their capabilities, and maybe they can influence our system as well. But the whole system of the nation is the key, and education is one part of it. This is how I see it.
Yeah, I agree with Dr. Yane. Actually, education, I think, because I've talked to the scholars and they believe education is one of the most important systems in a society, because whole society is working on human beings only. Other than human beings, then there will be no systems also. So to prepare that human being to achieve different objectives of a nation, you have got to train the human being, or you have got to pass that human being through certain learning experiences, which can prepare human resource for achieving your objectives. That's what I think I believe. Brother Danish, sorry, please.
So please go ahead.
No, please, Professor.
I was thinking to go back to the question that if education is already ingrained, we are just reminding or reviving, that's a very fundamental principle, that we are just retrieving, not giving the new education. So that's actually relates to the existence of God, that we are not giving education, it is already there. We are just, as a teacher, retrieving or reminding or nurturing to develop that existing knowledge in the human mind given by God. So this is something very fundamental principle, which probably the West disagree or not, because I'm not a specialist on that area, I don't know. But you tapped in a very, very fundamental principle. If education is, or the knowledge, the seeds are already there, then it dictates the existence of God. Like we say, human brain is much, much powerful than computer, superpower. And even memorization of the Quran is not fulfilling a very tiny part of the memory cells. So there are more it can develop, it can memorize. So that's surprising. That clearly shows the existence of God. So I want the speaker, if you can put more light on that area.
Yeah, Professor, definitely. Actually, the knowledge is there, as you said, the seeds of knowledge are there. Here we get more experience. We mainly see the cause and effect. We do something and we see the results of that thing, which March and Simon models someday I will share with you, a perceptual framework. There has got to be, or even Iqbal says the same thing, there has got to be a cause to develop an effect. So when a child experiences, actually it's basically now, as even the modern day education says, that it is basically experiential learning, which Kolb and Dewey also focused on. And we have developed a theory on Iqbal's experiential learning theory from his book Asrar-e-Khudi, which is amazing, mashallah. There is a PhD going on right now. One of my students, ex-students, she did master's, MPhil under me, on this. We developed the theory, and now she is further refining the theory, and she is doing observational research, and through interviews of children, she wants to see whether that theory holds good. There are 5 steps of human development. So anyway, as I said, that we have to work on systems. Actually, we have to define some very basic things, which we get from the Holy Quran. And this, I think, we are badly lacking. Although, as you said, Hifz doesn't make much of a difference unless we really know what is contained in the Holy Quran. For me, Quran is not the book of knowledge only, but I believe the main function of Quran is to develop our thinking style, our perceptual framework, our mental, model. That is what Quran does, because it has small ayats, and they are repeated many times from different dimensions, different angles. As the Quran says that we have given all the examples in Quran. Masal, we have given all the masal in the Quran. So Quran basically prepare a Muslim mind, which it is not doing presently, because we have left Quran and we have hooked on to our predecessors, ulamas, whom we think they have defined Quran. But I say, okay, if we collect all the tafasirs or explanation of the Quran which exist today, they may be about 10,000, right? And then just point out 2 tafasir which are identical. There are no 2 tafsirs which are identical. This proves that human thinking is not identical. Everyone approaches Quran from his own experience. Whatever he has experienced in this life, that is how, that is the base of how we approach Quran. Because we develop questions, and to get the answers, we approach Quran and we find answers to our questions. Those ulamas, they found answers to their questions, and everyone doesn't have the same question or same exact same dimension of thinking. So Quran speaks to each and every one separately. That is why we have been asked to recite Quran at least 5 times a day in our salat, in our namaz. And we are asking God for directions in Surah Fatiha, and then we read Quran, which is the directions from our Creator. And then what we do, we bow down to ruku, and we say, okay, we accept your commands, we accept your directions. And then we go to sujood, to show that we have totally resigned before you, our Creator. So Quran, namaz or salat has a very intelligent and that is a very effective way to keep ourselves closer to the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or kalam Allah. But most of us don't even realize this. Most of us, we just recite Quran or they offer salat as if we are offering something to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where, as you believe, we all believe, Allah doesn't require our salat, our worship, the God doesn't require. Anyway, this is...
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. I think, mashallah, this is very fruitful discussion. So just to add up to this discussion, because all of us here are believer, our Creator has told us that He has created us from one single creation, that we called Him our father, the first human being, Adam. And then He created from him his spouse, Eve, and then from them, like, He created all of us. So here actually we'll dig into it according to the questions of Professor Shahjalal, because in chapter 2 in 31, I think verse number 31, the Creator is telling us that He taught Adam everything. Allama, that means He taught Adam. So it actually symbolizes that we are all pre-programmed as you said. So this is like all of us, we are pre-programmed. At the same time, all of us has different perspective. Like even this is like we are talking about like spiritually. At the same time, we see our fingerprints, our eye cornice, even our physical patterns are different. So this is really complex. I don't know how to dig into it, but inshallah we'll dig into it as much as possible and we'll learn. And today's discussion, what I just want to summarize on this. So basically, this one I was not also really I would say educated on it. So everything should have a seed level, that education level. So that seed level, like what philosophy it has. Then roots level means it should have all the definition. Even though I had overall idea, but I couldn't really get into the seed level that what is this philosophy. So if we understand that, okay, for every model has a seed level, means behind it has a philosophy, then we'll really understand and better distinguish that what is the difference between our objectives and those systems objectives. And once we understand, then we can structure our education model or whatever, because education is part of it, right? Because Arnold Joseph Toynbee, he wrote Civilization on Trial, that West gave two models. One is like economic model, and second is political model. And they just retracted. And those two models entails everything. So education model is under those two systems. So thank you all. If anybody like Danish, Arafat, Lifia just joined, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Then we can finish the session for today.
Thank you so much, Prof. Alhamdulillah, I have learned a lot, especially about the framework and structure. Even there has been an idea of like establishing a school. By attending this session, Alhamdulillah, you have enlightened me with some more information about education. Thank you so much, Prof.
So I think Professor Shahjalal, Dr. Yani, please, if you have any last word, please express.
Thank you so much, Tariq. I really enjoyed the framework on the education that Dr. Abid described. And as said, I'm always learning every day more. So this was a very useful session. Thank you so much.
You are most welcome, and we appreciate your participation, Doctor. And we are honored.
I really appreciate. We, inshallah, are going to learn a lot from Dr. Yani, inshallah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Professor Shahjalal, please.
I was involved in this group. I don't know how, but this is the first session I'm attending. I think it's very, very interesting and useful. So I have a colleague at the Malaysian Islamic University. Probably I'll invite him to join. And I'll say education is the foundation for rising any nation. And I'm living in UK last 22 years. I worked in various universities. So I know how important that topic is. It is true that the Muslim world is sleeping, not doing much research on fundamental things, let alone the small things. In the West, I think the speaker has rightly pointed out, they do research on every small things, and that's true. So the research is very important for development to get the right direction. However, it does not mean that, yes, some of the scholars of tafsir, they are very strict that you cannot discover any new knowledge beyond the existing tafsir. Yes, I know they're talking about some Akida issues that you have to be very careful. You cannot add something new, totally new concept. However, the similar concept, different people will write tafsir slightly different way, and there is nothing wrong with that. So I'll say the research is fundamental, especially the education. This is the power. The Western world, specifically UK, ruled all over the world, not due to their wealth or anything. It is due to their educational power. And the Muslim world is much, much behind on this, this topic of education. So I'll say it is a very, very important initiative. I haven't seen last 22 years. And from this WhatsApp group, this is the first time for me. I'm really, really happy to see this sort of initiative, discussion about education, the philosophy, how we can change, how we can develop our educational system. We know in the West, especially in UK, they're thinking the system in Norway is much better than the primary education system in UK. And there are a lot of discussion going on why, what is their aspect. In UK, they're trying to push the children as early as possible to the school, but this is not the case in Norway. So they have their own argument, their philosophy. So we need to discuss these issues and find out what is the best way to educate the nation. Is it very early or is it later? Is the seeds are already there or not? So these are very fundamental aspects to do research, to do PhD, and even some of the ayah of the Quran deserve to PhD. I personally work on some health issues because my background is medical field. I'm teaching 22 years in the medical school. So I am focusing on halal and tayyiban, Surah Baqarah 168, verse 168, where Allah said, O human being, eat halal and tayyib and do not follow the footsteps of shaitan. So this is slightly different, but I'll say there are many, many indications in the Quran and authentic hadith about the education, the philosophy of education. And our religion is started with the education, Ikra. The first word is Ikra. So I'll say in summary, this is a very good initiative, and I congratulations, thanks for the people who started that, and inshallah I'll try to participate on a regular basis next time, inshallah.
Thank you, Professor Shah Jalal. And you're most welcome. Please bring other people, those who can contribute, and so that we can gradually work and document our work so that we can contribute to our societies.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. So, Dr. Abid Ali, please say some last word and we can finish up with that.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah. So nice of Professor Shah Jalal to share his views. And as he says, the education system is very important. And I'm asked the question, you speak a lot about system, but what are you doing about the system? So at least I have initiated certain, you can say, arguments or certain discussions. And Alhamdulillah, we have formed, there are groups also over here who are continuously working on that. And they are concentrating on more on the design of an education system, how we should make our children learn. So I'm actually being tempted to show you one more slide, but now since the time is over, I start my next program with that slide, which will make a lot of sense to the audience, inshallah ta'ala. So all the best to you, and I really would like many questions, because whatever we are claiming is very different than what is happening around in the world. both in the Muslim countries and other countries. So please do think over whatever has been discussed, and I am definite you'll get a lot of questions. Ask me, please put forward any question, and we are here as a group. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll try to attend to that. So Jazakallah khair, Brother Tariq Hamid, for arranging this. And as I always say, I keep on missing you. I keep on missing I.
And thank you, Dr. Abdali, and thank you all. May Allah grant you all guidance and patience and the worldly well-beings so that we can succeed for our next life. May Allah grant
Ameen.
you khair. Thank you all. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakumullah
Wa
khairan.
alaikum assalam. Jazakallah khair.
Yes, sir.